bolt holes in that cross blade. That's where it's going to bolt to, and they can adjust it up and down to different distance if they want to. Got a center well here. Water's coming up the center column, out through the ports. The center well here is what we kind of talked about. That's going to slow down that outward velocity. As that water's coming into the tank, it's kind of going to want to run straight through the weirs, right? And we don't want that to happen because it's going to carry solid fuel. So we give it to the well, so it has to come out inside this well, and it has to slow down and drop underneath it and come out the bottom. We have these sludge ports in the top of the scum ports in the top of the well. This is the openings that you see. That allows any floating material inside the well to kind of leave it and get, so it can get caught by the skimmer arm that'll take it around. So that's going to work all our sludge and everything's going to kind of settle out on the bottom. Slowly rotating, pushing everything in. You can see it over there on top of the beach now. So this long steel plate has what we call our full circle skimmer. That connects to the skimmer wall. We're going to run all the way out to where that skimmer head's going to sit. That's obviously going to prevent any material from being able to bypass and it's rotating and angling that straight edge kind of pushes everything out towards the outside, so that scraper can take it over the beach and discharge it. Underneath the beach, you see that device that has the water sticking down at a 45 degrees. That's their auto flush actually. So that opening right there at the bottom of that pipe is going to be sitting below the water level. So anytime this arm comes around, you look out there at the end and that bird is basically to the rod. That is just going to tip that arm and that valve and swing it open. So when it does that, it's just going to allow water to rush in. The trough inside of that stimulation, you can go around and look at it. It's obviously sloped towards the pipe on the other end, so all the material is going to be pushing out of the pipe.
Well, if those things are full, we have the operator panel to lift it.
I'm sorry,
Our first pit, something over there was full of grease.
Yeah, if it's back up a bit and that pipe's closed, I mean, it's still going to try to run water. It's not going to but yeah, as long as there's water in the tank, if you open that valve. Like I said, you can raise and lower that actuating rod. The higher up it is, the earlier it will hit that arm, so the longer that arm stays in. Lower it down the road. The bottom of it and come by it. That's how that works. Unfortunately, you do have to so this is the drive unit, right? So this is what's generating all that rotational force. I don't know if you have to leave my handrail, but over there on that one, if you look underneath the platform, you see 4 bolts that are basically facing it. That's where the drive gauge bolts on the drive unit itself. You have to look at the big bolts right there that hold everything together. So our drive unit here is going to rotate our gear reducer. We're taking a high-speed output from our motor. We're slowing it down and putting some torque on it, and we're using that to rotate the sprocket here, which of course drives the chain, rotates that input sprocket on our worm. So that's spinning. Right inside of here is that section that we talked about where that worm gear sits. So it can move back and forth inside this housing. Over here at this end cap is where that spring pack is, so absorb that force. So if we start rotating this thing and you go down there and you force against that arm, the opposite way of rotation, this worm gear is actually physically going to move over in the housing. So that sprocket, everything with it is going to move over. It's going to compress the springs in here, and then it's going to start driving this needle up. That needle's going to go up, 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 and then you have a yellow sticker there which tells you where the needle's going to be when it alarms out, and then the second one is where the needle will be when it actually shuts down. Obviously, it's on the lower end of the scale. Unfortunately, this is a one-size-fits-all torque monitor box that goes on all of our drives, regardless of what the torque loads is. So on a unit like this, it doesn't use the whole scale, obviously. It just uses, it goes up to about right there. So you have a dipstick, which I'm not going to pull out right now because it's raining. So there's the dipstick. You're going to pull that out to check the oil in the main gear. So that's that main gear housing down there. That's all part of it. The platform just sits down on top of it. Obviously, there's a little weed hole on the bottom that's supposed to let the water out. It looks like it might be clogged. That's that automatic condensate port that we talked about. That's your low point oil drain for the main gear. So you check the oil at the dipstick. You have an oil fill port right there. This is where you're going to put oil in it. You've got those little indicator plates. You'll drain it from here. So what most people do is they'll hang a 5-gallon bucket around that valve where that end valve is, and they'll just open it up, let the bucket fill up, and then pull it out. Repeat as necessary. This is the sight glass for your worm tower. So you just want to look in there, make sure you got oil up in there that you can see it. And then on this gear reducer here, you have a couple of ports you fill from the top. You can pull either one of these out. I think it's 3/8 Allen, if I'm not mistaken, or it might be metric 7mm or something like that. This is going to be the port that you pull out to check to see if it has oil in it. Now, if you look, it's kind of low down on there, right? You don't need this thing full of oil. It has an oil bath down at the bottom that gear just dips down into, and then it brings oil up with it when it comes around. So check oil there, fill there, drain from the low point over on this side. That's the lowest point, that plug right there. You pull it out. Now what I see a lot of people do, they'll take this plug out, put a 3-inch nipple in there with a ball valve, just so they don't, because obviously when you go to drain this oil out, it's going to want to run and then make a mess. So if you bring a nipple out here with a hand valve on it, you can just put a bucket underneath it, drain it out that way. You can pull this plate off to check your chain and everything in there and lubricate it. If you need to pull slack out of the chain, you loosen up these bolts that hold the gearbox in place. You see how the bolt holes are notched? And then you have these adjustment bolts over here. As you tighten these up, you loosen the jam nut to allow you to turn it. As you thread these bolts in, it's going to slide this gearbox that way, which is going to increase the distance between the shafts, pull slack out of the chain. Obviously, if you need to loosen the chain, you just back these bolts out and just tap this thing over and move it over. One thing you do want to be mindful of is make sure it's square. So, like, I just typically count the threads on my adjustment bolts and make sure I have the same amount of threads exposed before I lock the set screws down with the jam nuts down. Let's see if I missed anything.
Do you want to drain this bit?
Drain that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, there is a hole in there. I think it's just got some plug in it right now.
There is a hole because I've opened it.
It's like a little hole or something.
It's dedication.
Yeah, see, there it is right
I
there.
don't want it on a stick.
That's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, there's not a whole lot going on out here. You guys got any questions? Anything over here?
What's the bump to?
I'm sorry, what's that?
What is the bump to? Obviously the emergency shut off and on and off, but the bump.
That's so you can just like, you can go to manual and then just move it a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
If you go to on, it just runs the news off.
Now for the controller over there, the on-off over there, it's emergency stop as well. If you pull it back out, stop the arm while you're over there, will the arm start back up, or do you have to come back over here?
That I'm not sure. I don't know. I'd have to talk to the electricians to see how. I don't know if they have an automatic reset in there. Or
We'll have to ask Chad that and find out from the electrician. I don't know the answer to that either.
You want to talk about the gate down there?
Yeah. You talking about the overflow? Sorry, gate.
So open and close so that we can stop the flow.
Oh,
the
okay.
gate?
Yeah.
That's not him.
Yeah, we didn't supply that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's that limit torque actuator, that rotor.
All right.
Yeah, shit. Hell, I mean, those are pretty easy. You just flip it over and
Alright.
tell it where to go. And
We did do a start off on that, Dell, and
Okay.
we've had full travel on it.
Now, one thing I do want to point out that I just talked about in there is on these units, obviously, as you guys see, your effluent weir does not go up against the outer diameter of the tank. You have some space back there between the weir and the wall. And as you guys obviously have seen on your other clarifiers, you got like Louisiana bayou swamps going over there, you know. So